Alright, what is going on, guys? Today we're going to be learning the ethics of chatbots. Now, before I do get into this video, I want to say it's very controversial. And if you like stuff like this, please consider subscribing. I normally don't do this, but if you guys like it, I'll be more than happy to. But let's go ahead and read about the ethical issues surrounding chatbots. So imagine you're shopping online and come across a live chat feature on a website. You decide to begin a chat to get some advice on finding the right product to purchase. The representative on the other end appears to be eager and helpful, prompting you for more information. You feel a sense of trust and end up sharing details of your lifestyle and background. The representative helps you find the product that fits your needs and all seems well. Or is it? What if you learn that the representative you were talking to was not a human, but a bot all along? And what if all the personal information you've shared with it was saved beyond the session of your chat? This data, now owned by the company that runs the business, can be used to send you unsolicited advertisement and target you as a consumer. That wouldn't seem too fair. Now, this scenario is just one example of how ethical issues can arise when it comes to chatbots. In the rest of this article, we'll further expand on this topic and see how to address these ethical concerns. So it's kind of tricky because you're the one that gave the information to that company, but that company, now has it, so they can just turn around and sell it for profit. So yeah, it's kind of tricky there. So user transparency. So from the user's perspective, a big ethical consideration is when it comes to technology is transparency. In other words, is the user aware of all aspects involving the chatbot and the consequences of interacting with one? As seen previously, a common concern is privacy and protection of user data. Now, depending on what the regulations are put in place, any information that users share with the bot during their conversation could potentially be collected, used, or sold without their consent. Not to mention the company or organization that owns the bot would then amass an increased amount of information over time, creating a vast power imbalance. Thus, it is key to be open and clear about data usage, ownership, and protection. Now, one way to maximize the transparency includes implementing a data regulation system like the European Union's GDPR, which gives individuals more control over their personal data. To take it a step further, full transparency may involve explicitly communicating to the user they are indeed chatting with a bot. As chatbots become more advanced and realistic, it might not always be immediately apparent whether the user is chatting with a bot or another human. A prime example is the Google Duplex system, which is able to carry out convincingly natural human-like phone conversations for specific tasks like booking appointments. While adding this aspect of realness to the bot does help contribute to the ease and flow of the conversation, it is also important to ensure that the user is fully aware of the situation and does not feel deceived, as this can lead to distrust. Chatbot persona. There is also an ethical issues to consider on the side of the chatbot. With respect to the representation of the bot, one of the controversies surrounds the assignment of gender. Historically, females have been expected to fill assistant-type roles in the workplace, while males take on the leadership positions. Now, I do not completely agree with this, but it is not unrelated that chatbots have been disproportionately given female names or voices, such as Apple Siri or Amazon's Alexa, which can reinforce gender roles and perpetuate the subservient female stereotype. As chatbot developers, we need to be careful and avoid any gender bias during the design of the bot. Additionally, we need to take caution when training the bot to ensure that it behaves properly. If it is not properly trained, the chatbot could be at risk of displaying racism, sexism, or use of abusive language. This is exactly what happened to Microsoft's Tay, a bot company created for use on Twitter that generated its responses based on how users interact with it. When various users posting offensive tweets towards the bot, Tay reciprocated by emulating the same language in its replies. This type of behavior can be prevented with more effective training of the bot, such as using supervised learning to ensure the quality of the training data and better predict the outputted responses. The art of communication. Now, as we can see, there is more to communication than simply just providing a response. In society, we consider certain behaviors more morally or socially acceptable than others. In the case of handling user abuse, it is enough for the chatbot to simply not reciprocate the negative language. Is it enough for the chatbot to simply not reciprocate the negative language? Passively accepting the abuse may actually encourage user behavior and downplay the significance of the situation. For example, feminized chatbots are often sexually harassed without any apparent reper- repercussions. As chatbot developers, we can assign bots that actively tackle harassment, perhaps using humor and wit to turn the situation around. Similarly, some users reach out to chatbots as a source of company and comfort when they're feeling lonely or depressed. In these situations, users may grow emotionally attached, and the chatbot should be particularly considerate of their feelings. For instance, how can a chatbot demonstrate compassion and empathy towards the user? If the user is expressing suicidal thoughts, would the bot be able to offer help? These are all ethical questions that should be considered. Now, some chatbots like the Woba are especially trained to be able to help users with their mental health. Now, for the future of chatbots. So finally, as chatbots become an ever-growing part of the human world, it is important to consider how they will affect the future and life as we know it. Already, chatbots are increasingly filling roles that were once occupied by humans. With chatbot technology rapidly improving, more and more jobs will likely be automated, displacing a significant number of workers. While this trend may be ultimately inevitable, we can still be mindful of its consequences and take action for a smoother transition. Nevertheless, there is no denying that chatbots bring many positive elements in our lives. They hold great potential, and it is an exciting journey to be a part of. So that is all of the ethics of chatbots. A few comments I want to make here as I've read the article is, of course, there's a lot of things going on with the user data and, privacy rights and all of that. I think that there should be laws in place to tackle that, like universal laws, not just country based. I think it should just be a universal type law. Um, and then as for chatbot persona, how they're more, like feminine. Chatbots are more seen as feminine. Really don't agree with this one because from the chatbots I've seen, they're just not classified as a gender. Again, like you can of course point back to Amazon's Alexa and Apple Siri, but again, those are I think an exception to the rule. But at the end of the day, I think it's up to the developer what gender they want. So some just leave it as an it, or as not like a person, just an object basically. So and then as far as like the art of the communication, we can see that chatbots should be trained on quality data so that they don't like cuss at the user, or if if the user harasses the chatbot, that, like, of course it's not like a real living person or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's still something that can think, not on its own, of course, yet, but it can think, and I still don't think humans should, like, abuse something that it can't defend itself really. So yeah, like having like rules or special code set aside just to tackle situations like that. Like for example, if you go to ChatGPT and you type in uh, like you start flaming it, start roasting it, harassing it rather, it's gonna turn it around. It's gonna, like try it just for fun. It's gonna actually just turn it around as a joke or just like ignore it in general. So yeah, and then again, the future is very bright, at the same time very dark, because more jobs are getting replaced. So I recommend, this is the artificial gold rush, and some people are selling the shovels. Some people are trying to dig for the gold. You take whatever action you want, but I just caution you, don't sit on the sidelines and just watch people get rich. Like, take some action on that. But yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna end it right here. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.